There were foods that people once depended on to stay alive, not for taste, not for comfort, but for survival. Some of them don't exist anymore. Some were so strange you wouldn't even call them food today. And some disappeared for reasons no one wants to remember. In this video, you're about to discover lost survival foods from American history, including one that people ate even when it was crawling, and another that existed only when everything else was gone. And once you see them, you'll never look at food the same way again. Because this was not eating, this was survival. There were foods that people once depended on to stay alive. Not for taste, not for comfort, but for survival. Some of them don't exist anymore. Some were so strange you wouldn't even call them food today. And some disappeared for reasons no one wants to remember. And once you see them, you'll never look at food the same way again. Because this was not eating, this was survival. In forests and wildlands, acorns became bread, ground slowly, soaked carefully to remove bitterness, then shaped into something heavy and dense. It didn't taste good. It wasn't meant to. It filled the stomach. And sometimes, that was everything. This was not bread. This was survival. In a time without refrigeration, meat had to last, so pork was packed in salt, sealed in barrels, and stored for months. The taste was harsh. The salt burned. But it was protein when nothing else existed. Without it, people didn't last. Then there was something even more extreme. A biscuit so hard it could break your teeth. Made with nothing but flour and water, it could survive years without spoiling. Soldiers carried it. Sailors depended on it. Sometimes it came with insects inside. Still, it was eaten. Because hunger doesn't give you options. Out in fields and roadsides, what we now call weeds was once dinner. Dandelion greens, boiled into something edible, provided nutrients when food was scarce. Bitter, wild, overlooked today. But back then, they meant life. When sugar was rare, people turned to molasses. Mixed with water, it became a drink. Not for taste, but for energy. Children drank it, workers relied on it. It wasn't sweet comfort, it was survival fuel. Cornmeal became something even simpler. Cooked slowly with water, turning into a thick, plain paste. No spices, no flavor. Just something heavy enough to keep hunger quiet for a while. And sometimes, that was enough. Food didn't last long, so people preserved everything they could. Vegetables, eggs, even meat. Soaked in vinegar, pickled for months. The taste was sharp, overpowering, but winter didn't care about taste. It only cared if you had something left to eat. Even coffee disappeared at times, so people created something else. Roasted roots, ground down, brewed into a dark liquid. It looked like coffee. It smelled like coffee. But it wasn't. Still, it gave comfort. And in hard times, comfort can feel like survival. Here's the truth no one talks about. These weren't recipes. These weren't traditions. These were last options. Because when survival is all that matters, you don't eat what you want. You eat what exists. In the middle of long, unforgiving winters, when fresh food simply didn't exist, people turned to something unusual: snow, mixed with whatever sweetness they could find. Sometimes maple, sometimes leftover syrup. It melted fast. It wasn't filling, but for a moment, it gave energy and a feeling of relief. And in survival, even a moment matters. Out on the frontier, people learned to eat what others ignored. Tree bark, scraped, dried, sometimes ground into powder, mixed into whatever they had, just to stretch a meal. It wasn't food in the traditional sense, but it kept the body going. Barely. This was not cooking. This was strategy. In desperate coastal areas, when supplies ran out, people turned to the ocean in ways most wouldn't imagine today. Seaweed, collected, dried, eaten plain or added to soups. Salty, tough, unfamiliar, but rich in minerals. And when everything else failed, it became a lifeline. There were also moments when even that wasn't enough. People boiled bones again and again until the water carried some trace of nutrients. Thin, almost empty, but warm. And sometimes, warmth is what keeps hope alive. In poor households, scraps were never wasted. Leftovers from days before, mixed together, reheated, stretched. Nothing thrown away, because throwing food away was not an option. Every bite mattered, every scrap counted. And then, there were foods created from pure necessity. Flour mixed with water, fried into something barely edible. No seasoning, no comfort, just something to silence hunger for a few hours. That was enough. This is where things change. Because survival foods weren't just about staying alive physically. They were about endurance, about pushing through another day when everything around you was uncertain. Food became more than food. It became hope. Some of these foods disappeared because life got easier. Some vanished because people never wanted to remember them again. And some because no one ever wanted to go back to that kind of survival. But their stories remain, hidden inside history, quiet but powerful. Because they remind us of something simple. Humans can survive on far less than we think. So now the question is, could you survive on these foods? No flavor, no comfort, no choice. Just survival. Which one shocked you the most? And which one do you think you could actually eat? Tell me in the comments. Because this wasn't just food. This was survival.